Hello friends, welcome to Dungeons & Dragonfly, where I adapt various characters for use in D&D. I'm Dragonfly9078, and today I'm building Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher. So what do we want from this build? Well, Witchers are monster hunters, so we need to be able to track down monsters that are causing trouble and kill them. That's dangerous for regular people to do though, so Witchers are enhanced to have better senses and stronger bodies than normal people. But nothing beats preparation, so we'll also get a stock of potions, bombs, and magical signs to help out on our hunts. Looking over at ability scores, I'll be using the standard point array. If you want to roll for stats, that's fine, just make sure your dexterity, intelligence, and wisdom are high enough to multiclass. Starting off with a 12 in strength. Geralt is strong, and we will get stronger, but in terms of physicality, his enhancements lean more toward reflexes and toughness, so we'll make dexterity 13 and constitution 15. Intelligence is 10. He's not dumb, but he's also not one to sit down and do puzzles, and his enhanced senses make wisdom 14. Then we'll finish off by dumping charisma. People hate and fear Witchers, and Geralt is kind of a grumpy dude. That's why we keep Jaskier around. Geralt is a human, but since Witchers are heavily enhanced by magic, we'll make him a shifter. We get +1 to our dexterity, constitution, and intelligence, 60 feet of dark vision, and a skill from a small list. We'll take survival to track monsters. As the name implies, we can also shift as a bonus action a number of times per day equal to our proficiency bonus. For up to a minute, we get double our proficiency and temporary HP, and as a Wild Hunt shifter, we can open up our Witcher senses, giving us advantage on wisdom checks and preventing creatures within 30 feet from having advantage on their attacks against us. Witchers are wandering mercenaries, so the mercenary veteran background works well for us, giving us proficiency in athletics and persuasion, though we'll leave the persuasion to Jaskier and take intimidation instead. We get a gaming set and land vehicle proficiencies as well, so we can get our Gwent on, but we'll switch the vehicles out for alchemist supplies to mix up our potions and bombs. Everything about Geralt screams Ranger to me, so that's where we'll start, giving us 3 skills from the Ranger list, like Stealth, Perception, and Investigation. As a canny, deft explorer, we can bump one of our proficiencies to an Expertise, we'll say Athletics to offset our relatively low strength. I'm actually going to use the regular version of Favorite Enemy for this one, since getting the extra damage isn't as important as being able to track down a wide variety of monsters. We get 2 favorite enemies here, and for each of our favorite enemies, we have advantage on checks made to track and remember information about them. Pretty much any of the options available to us are creatures that Geralt has had to hunt at one time or another, so any of them are solid picks. I'm going to say monstrosities and undead. For our fighting style, dueling adds 2 to the damage of a weapon we're wielding in one hand as long as we aren't using another weapon. Geralt's swords read to me as long swords, and he does use them one-handed to leave the other free to use signs. Speaking of, we do get spells at this level, but our ranger spells aren't really suited to be our signs, they're more in line with potions and bombs. Fog Cloud, for example, is a smoke bomb with a 20-foot radius, and Hail of Thorns is a shrapnel-filled grape shot bomb that explodes when it hits its target, dealing piercing damage to the target and everyone within 5 feet of it if they fail a dexterity save. At 3rd level, we can concentrate for a minute to sense the presence of any of our favorite enemies within 5 miles, learning how many there are, what kind they are, and their general location. We can also communicate simple ideas to animals, so we can connect with Roach more effectively. As a monster slayer, we get a hunter's sense. A number of times per day equal to our wisdom modifier, we can use our action to look at a creature within 60 feet and determine its resistances, vulnerabilities, and immunities if it has any, so we know what to prepare to take it down. Then we can use our bonus action to mark it as our prey, and apply the relevant oil to our sword. While the creature is marked, we deal an extra 1d6 damage with the first attack we hit it with each turn. The target stays marked until we either rest or mark another creature, and there's no limit to the number of times we can mark something. Monster Slayers also get spells, like Protection from Evil and Good, which wards off attacks from aberrations, elementals, celestials, fae, fiends, and undead, and prevents the target from being charmed, frightened, or possessed by them. At 4th level we get our first ASI, and we'll bump Intelligence to 13 to satisfy our multiclassing minimum, so that we can finally get our signs by jumping over to Wizard. 1st level wizards get Arcane Recovery, letting us get back expended spell slots on a short rest once per day. It's limited by our wizard levels, and we're only going to get a couple of those, so this effectively gets us a free 1st level slot. We get 3 cantrips. Blade Ward sketches a quick Quen sign to get resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage for a turn, and Create Bonfire lobs a firebomb at a square within 60 feet, setting a fire that deals up to 4d8 fire damage to anyone who passes through it and fails a dex save. Then Poison Spray is a poison bomb, dealing up to 4d12 poison damage to a creature within 10 feet on a failed con save. As for spells, Burning Hands is the Igni sign, projecting a 15-foot cone of fire that deals 3d6 damage on a failed dex save, and Charm Person uses the Axii sign to charm a humanoid who fails a wisdom save. Shield is either another use of Quen or a use of Heliotrope, adding 5 to our AC as a reaction to being attacked, and Thunderwave and Catapult are both applications of Ard. Thunderwave blasts a 15-foot cube with force, dealing 2d8 thunder damage and pushing creatures 10 feet on a failed con save, and Catapult propels a small object through the air at high speed, setting it flying in a 90-foot line, dealing 3d8 damage to the first creature it hits unless they pass a dex save to jump out of the way. But the best part of any Witcher hunt is the preparation beforehand, so at 2nd level we'll kick our potion making into high gear by becoming an Artificer. We can spend 10 minutes and expend a spell slot to turn a vial of water into a potion, the effect of which depends on the level of the slot we expended. Using a 1st level slot gives us either a potion of healing, a potion of growth, which acts as the enlarge half of enlarge reduce for 1d4 hours, or a potion of climbing, which gives us a climbing speed and advantage on climbing checks for an hour. We can also craft scrolls, but that's dependent on our arcane recovery and isn't relevant to Geralt, so we're not super interested. Instead, we'll look at the 2 new bombs we got. Ice Knife throws an icy north wind bomb that deals piercing damage on a hit, then explodes and deals cold damage to the target and anyone within 5 feet of it who fails a dex save. And Color Spray is a flash bomb that blinds up to 60 10 HP worth of creatures in a 15-foot cone. That's enough wizard, I think. Geralt isn't an especially powerful spellcaster, so we'll pivot back and finish out the build as a ranger. 5th level rangers can attack twice with the attack action, and we get access to 2nd level spells. Being a monster slayer gives us Zone of Truth, which can be useful if we need to root out a witch or a werewolf hiding amongst the townsfolk. Then Cordon of Arrows lets us set a trap, planting a handful of arrows in the ground to shoot out at any creatures who come within 30 feet of them. With our 2nd level spell slots, we can infuse higher level potions as well. The Potion of Greater Healing is a better potion of healing, obviously, and the Potion of Mind Reading gives us the effect of Detect Thoughts for a minute. At 6th level, we're a roving deft explorer, increasing our speed by 5 feet and giving us climbing and swimming speeds to match our walking speed. And we can pick another type of favorite enemy, so at this level we'll say giants. 7th level monster slayers are more experienced and get supernatural defenses. Whenever we're forced to make a save by the target of our slayer's prey, or whenever we try to escape being grappled by them, we add a d6 to our roll. And since witches are much more resistant to poison than most folk, we'll pick up protection from poison to neutralize the poison that's affecting us, and give us resistance to poison damage and advantage on saves against being poisoned. Then with Fleet of Foot we can dash with our bonus action, and we get our cool danger detecting wolf head witcher medallion with the alert feat. We get +5 to our initiative, we can't be surprised as long as we're conscious, and creatures we can't see don't automatically get advantage on attacks against us. 9th level brings us 3rd level spells, like Magic Circle for an Erden sign to trap enemies. We inscribe a 10-foot radius circle on the ground and choose from Celestials, Elementals, Fey, Fiends, and or Undead, any number of them. Creatures of the type or types that we choose can't cross the circle, have disadvantage to attack across the circle, and can't charm, frighten, or possess creatures on the other side of the circle. The magic is one way, so we can choose to have it protect people inside and hedge out the monsters, or reverse it so monsters can go in but can't get out. We'll also grab Lesser Restoration for a general purpose antidote that can cure a creature of poison, disease, blindness, deafness, or paralysis. For our 3rd level potions, the Potion of Superior Healing heals even more than the Potion of Greater Healing. The Potion of Invisibility makes us invisible for an hour or until we attack or cast a spell, and the Potion of Water Breathing lets us, well, breathe underwater for an hour. Sometimes our hunts require patience and waiting for the right chance to strike, so when we hide, we can remain motionless to give other creatures -10 on their checks to see us. And as a tireless deft explorer, our Witcher enhancements improve our stamina. Our exhaustion level goes down on short rests, not just long ones, and we can use our action to get 1d8 plus our wisdom modifier temporary HP a number of times per day equal to our proficiency bonus. Witchers do have a certain reputation in the bedroom for a reason. 11th level monster slayers are a magic user's nemesis. Once per rest, when a creature within 60 feet tries to cast a spell or teleport, we can use our reaction to force them to make a wisdom save. On a fail, their spell or teleport fizzles and is wasted. Our next ASI goes to our dexterity. Many monsters are big enough that we definitely do not want to get hit by them no matter what our constitution says, and 13th level brings us 4th level spells. We get Banishment from Monster Slayer, banishing a creature within 60 feet who fails a charisma save. Most monsters will just go to a harmless pocket dimension and come back when the spell ends, but creatures who are native to another plane, like devils and fae for example, will pop back to their home plane. And if we manage to concentrate on the spell for the entire duration, they'll stay there and they have to find their own way back. We also get Stone Skin, which gives us resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, and we can burn a 4th level slot to make possibly the most relevant potion for a Witcher that we can make, the Potion of Resistance, which gives us resistance to a specific damage type for an hour. Starting at 14th level, we can hide with our bonus action, and we can't be tracked by non-magical means unless we want to be, and we'll add dragons to our list of favorite enemies. The peak of our Monster Slayer abilities is Slayer's Counter. Whenever the target of our Slayer's prey forces us to make a save, we can use our reaction to attack them. On a hit, they take the normal effect of the attack, of course, and we automatically pass our save. Then with our last ASI, we'll boost our strength to 14, since that's the stat we're using to attack with our swords. It's hard to kill a monster if you can't actually hit it. We get 5th level spells at 17th level, but really the only one I care about is Hold Monster from the Monster Slayer list, for an upgraded Erden sign that can paralyze any creature on a failed wisdom save. Our capstone is the 18th level of Ranger as we circle back to our Witcher enhancements with Feral Senses. We automatically know the location of any invisible creatures within 30 feet, as long as we aren't blinded or deafened and they're not actively hidden from us, and we don't get disadvantage on attacks against creatures just because we can't see them. Now that the build is complete, let's take a look and see what we have done. On the whole, Geralt is very well-rounded. He's got decent mobility with a bonus action dash and swimming and climbing speeds, good survivability with high HP, supernatural defenses, several sources of temporary HP, and the ability to make healing potions of varying strengths. He can do decent damage thanks to Slayer's Prey and all of his spells. He can track well. Really, almost anything we need to do, we can do, with the notable exception of talking to people. Our charisma is super low, and outside of intimidating folks or smoothing the way with a game of Gwent, we're almost entirely reliant on Jaskier for social interaction. Another weakness is prep time. Several of our spells and our entire Infuse Potions ability take time to set up, time we won't have in combat. Not to mention, all of our wizard spells have to be prepared at the end of a long rest. That said, it is a big flavor win. Researching and tracking a creature, then preparing potions and spells ahead of the fight to ensure that we have the best chance of success, that's what The Witcher is all about. It's just not always what D&D is all about.
This world doesn't need a hero. It needs a professional.
Thank you for watching, friends. I hope you enjoyed the build. The poll this week should already be concluded, so unless there was a late surge in voting after recording, next week will be Yamato from One Piece. If you have any feedback or suggestions for characters you'd like to see me build, please leave them in the comments below and they could show up in a future poll. Leave a like or subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks again for watching. I will see y'all later.